Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Bayonne Zoning Board of Adjustment. Counselor, please read the roll.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner DeLulla.
Here.
Commissioner Panera. Here. Commissioner Lombardi is absent. Commissioner DeRoss.
Here.
Commissioner Siscalvin.
Here.
Commissioner Conti is absent. Commissioner Lubach is absent. Commissioner Frayne.
Here.
Commissioner Algari is absent. Commissioner Garber.
Here.
Having a quorum, we may proceed.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This regular meeting of the City of Bayonne Zoning Board of Adjustments has complied with the Open Public Meetings Act Sunshine Law. Annual notices of the schedule of regular meetings were published in both the Jersey Journal and the Star Ledger newspaper. The schedule of regular meetings for calendar year 2025 is filed with the City Clerk's office, and a copy of the agenda of tonight's meeting was emailed to the Star Ledger at least 48 hours prior to this meeting, and is posted on the bulletin board in the lobby of the municipal building and on the City of Bayonne website. If there are no amendments, can we have a motion to adopt the minutes from the June? You did not send them. Okay, we will skip that. Councilor, do we have any communications?
Yes, we have a communication from Commissioner.
Commissioner Conti, who has notified the board that she is going to be resigning her position effective immediately. And that is the sole communication.
Okay. For our first application, we have Z-25-001, Francis Chernyavsky. Site is 714A through 716 Avenue E, Block 401, Lot 1101. The applicant is requesting a variance relief in order to construct a two-car garage that opens in the front for their two-family attached home located in the TDD Transit Development District. Mr. Rose?
Yes, good evening. As mentioned, my client would like to build a two-car garage. In order to do so, we may require various variances and some exceptions to the design requirements. I'd like to call my first witness.
Yes. Yes, Francis Chernyavsky, it's FRANCISCZERNIAWSKI.
Mr. Chernyavsky, are you the owner of lot number 11.01?
Yes, I am.
And was it previously lots 11 and 12, and the lot was consolidated?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And how did you acquire the property?
I had got it from my father.
And your father got it from?
From my grandfather.
So it's been in the family for 3 generations?
Correct, yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chernyavsky, can you just move closer to the microphone, please? This way they can hear you.
Oh, yeah, you know, did we admit the exhibits?
Not yet.
To move them, Mr. Rose.
I apologize. I'd like to offer 24
Exhibits A1 through A24.
exhibits.
Mr. Chairman.
So,
They've been accepted.
I thank you. Getting back, so it's been in the family for 3 generations.
Yes, correct.
Okay, and since your grandfather purchased the property, has there been much change to the structure? Has the structure remained the same?
Structures remain the same.
And is it a 1 or 2 family house?
2 family.
And it's attached, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
And who occupies the first floor apartment?
First floor is occupied by my father.
By your father? You just speak louder. And the second floor?
Is by me. I live on the second floor.
So it's still a family occupied?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And how how many bedrooms in each apartment?
3 bedrooms.
For each apartment?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you want to build a two-car garage?
I'm just looking up to clean the
Oh, yeah,
property.
talk louder.
I'm looking to improve the property. Currently, there's 2 sheds. I'm looking to get rid of the sheds, clean it up, make it look better. You know, it's kind of, it's the corner lot, so it's the first thing you see going down Avenue E. I just want to, improve it, make it look good.
All right, will any part of the garage that you propose be used for dwelling purposes?
No,
There's presently a curb cut in front of the garage.
correct, yes.
Okay, can you describe the curb cut?
It's just 22 feet. So
And
just-
is it around, is it straight on? Or does it curve?
It's straight on. To the property, it's straight on.
No, but the curb cut itself, is it on a curve?
Yes, a little bit, yes.
Okay, and to the curb, to the north of the curb cut, can you describe the condition of it?
Yeah, there's a utility pole, the street light, and a yellow painted curb.
And the yellow painted curb
Correct.
indicates no parking?
Correct, yes.
Okay. Was the curb cut that's presently there, was it there when your grandfather purchased the property?
Correct. My grandfather purchased the home in 1964.
I'm sorry, 19?
64. The lot was bought separately in 1979, and that curb cut's been there since before my grandfather even bought the home.
I see. If the curb cut were shortened, would the city gain an extra parking spot?
No,
Why is that?
the curb is yellow, there's utility poles in the way, that there's no way for there to be any additional parking added.
Does a curb cut, as it exists, does it have a purpose for you?
It's safer, for me to pull out, if I do back out of the driveway, because the people make the right to go over the bridge and everything like that, I could kind of back out on a turn and parallel park in my driveway as I pull out, so I don't even impede traffic when I do pull out onto Avenue E.
So what you're saying, when you pull out next to the curb cut,
Correct,
and you don't go into Avenue E?
correct, yes.
And if the curb cut was shorter, what would happen?
I wouldn't be able to pull out as easily.
You would have to
I-
back out
yeah, I would
into
have to
Avenue
back out
E?
onto Avenue E and then pull forward.
Okay, so as it exists now, are you saying that you don't stop traffic because
Correct,
you?
yeah.
I see. Do you, the planner suggested that you plant evergreen shrubs that require little pruning.
Yes,
Are you willing to do that?
yes,
Right now, you have a fence in front of the property.
yes.
Do you plan to maintain that fence?
I plan on changing the fence.
Okay, and then when you change it, would you comply with the city requirements for the new fence?
Yes,
How about the light over the garage? Will you comply with the requirements?
yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
I have no questions. Any members of the board? Any questions? Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes. Can you step to the mic, please? And if you have comments about those, these are questions directed to Mr. Trudowski.
I had questions about the length and duration of the project and the ordinances for construction, because it will be noise-bearing, the length and scope of the project from start to finish, including on a daily basis.
Mr. Rose, do you have an architect
Z.
or a plan to testify? They may be better to answer these questions.
you.
Or, no, ma'am, stay there.
Can you just Michelle Larner, Larner. I live on 680 Kennedy, 26 in Kennedy. Thank you.
Mr. Rose, do you have other?
20
Go ahead.
She might be for the next application.
Oh, is that for, which application are you? Sorry, is that for townhouses or for a garage?
Is it 696-698 JFK?
Ma'am, you're here for the other one.
Yeah, it's the next application,
Yes.
696.
So this address right here, this is the next. I'll give you the agenda right here.
No, it's fine.
Right place, it's just the next block.
Yeah, this is on Avenue E. This isn't on Kennedy Boulevard.
That's why I was confused. All right, I can call my second.
No,
One of the commissioners
One more-
has
we
a
have one
question for your
can you
client.
just step back to the mic, please, sir?
I'm just curious. I pass by your property every day. You're going to change the fence to what? What type of fence are you putting in?
I would like to get rid of the chain link, and I was either looking at putting like, I'm not 100% set on it, but I don't know how to explain it, like the wooden fences, you know, that like the diagonal ones? Like something like
What's
that.
that called, the stock
Even a
fence?
white PVC, something different, just something that looks better than chain link.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. Next witness, next witness, sir?
Yes, I do. My name is Donald Chin, C-H-I-N.
Mr. Chin, have you testified before this board before?
Yes, I have,
I'm sorry, in what capacity are you testifying in?
as architect.
Okay. We'll accept Mr. Chin as an expert.
One of the possible variances would be for lot coverage. Do you want me to, do you want to explain? Or before you
Sure.
explain, we have,
Mr. Rose, what are we calling this?
architect's calculation as to
Calculations, okay.
lot coverage. The witness will testify to these facts, but it's lots of numbers, so I figured it would be easier if you had a copy of what he's going to testify to. One of the variances that we may need would be to lot coverage. How is your calculation?
Well, my calculations show that we actually are decreasing the amount of lot coverage by a small amount, 72 square feet. We are taking away a little bit of the rear yard, but since the shed, which is on the rear yard, is being taken away, and also we're adding the landscaping on the side of the garage. So those outweigh the amount of yard that we're taking away. So actually we are decreasing, or actually increasing the amount of permeable surface by 72 square feet. Small amount, but, so we're not increasing the lot coverage.
So what you're saying, what's existing now and what's proposed, there'll be more permeable material or coverage?
Yes, by 72 square feet, which is still over 70%, but we're not going above that, what was existing.
With regard to the driveway cut, does it help circulation of the cars in and out by maintaining the existing driveway cut?
I believe so, based on what Mr. Triniowski has testified, that it's easier for him to back out without going into the Avenue E. He can pull out and just essentially parallel park while he comes out of his car and closes the gate, and then gets back to his car.
With regard to the garage opening onto Avenue E, is there a reason why you chose Avenue? You didn't have the parking on the side of the lot. What's on the north side of this lot?
On the north side, there is a lot which is owned by the city, and then, so the bridge going over the railroad tracks. So even if that lot, that the city lot wasn't there, it wouldn't have been feasible to try to, enter onto the incline going over the railroad tracks, to try to pull out, that'd be very dangerous, so. It makes more sense.
Because of topography, because
Yes.
the lot is higher.
Yes, let's see,
Is there a guardrail along Center
yes,
Street?
Center Street, there's a guardrail, and also it's increasing in grade as they go over the track, so it wouldn't have worked to, first of all, there's a city lot, and then there's
The
that.
guardrail.
The guardrail and the increase in grade. So a side entrance to the garage wouldn't have been feasible.
And what's on the east side, at the rear of the lot? Railroad tracks?
More railroad tracks. There's a retaining wall, and then there's a big drop off. So there's no street back there to.
So am I correct, the only feasible way to get out of the garage would be to go onto Avenue E? Is that correct?
Yes, given the size of the width of the lot, that's the only way to do it.
You located how far, how much of a front yard setback do you have with regard to the garage? Do you conform to the code?
Yes. The garage itself meets all the requirements for accessory structures. As you see on the drawing, you can see that there's a 39-foot dimension from the front lot line to the front of the garage. So that's.
Now, is it not true that the house does not have sufficient setback?
Yes, the existing house, that whole block, they're like closer than the 20 feet that's required for new construction.
But you'd call that a pre-existing use?
Yes. I think, this row was built, I think, in 1920, well before the zoning ordinance was put into place.
I have no further questions.
Do you have any other witnesses, Mr. Ross? Or is it
Yes.
your last witness?
Nick?
No, I'm not asking to call, I'm just asking, and is he the planner? Or what is his?
I'm finished with the planner, unless the board.
I thought he was the architect. I thought Mr. Chin was an architect.
No, he meant to say
I'm
architect.
hard of hearing, sir.
I believe Mr. Rose said that he's going to finish with his planner.
Oh, okay.
He is the
Okay,
architect.
I'm sorry, okay. Yes, I have no questions. Any questions from the board? Oh, Ms. Rodriguez, are you okay with the
yeah.
calculations?
Yes, and then if you can just update the report to reflect that calculation and also reflect that the variance is required for lot coverage.
Okay, we amend our,
You're approved. She's suggesting that you amend
I'm saying,
and you're agreeing to that.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then for the fence, you mentioned you will replace the chain link fence. If the existing chain remains, I just want to remind the board that a design exception would be needed for that. If it's being replaced, then it needs to comply, otherwise you would have to come back. So if you replace the fence with a 6-foot fence, it's a variance, so you would need to come back. So just make sure that the fence that you're proposing to replace is complying with the ordinance.
The testimony was that he is going to
Okay,
put in a new fence that complies.
got it, thank you.
No questions from the audience. Mr. Rose, I think you can call your next witness.
Nick, you're on.
I do. Yes, my first name is Nicholas with an H, last name Graviano, G-R-A, V as in Victor, I-A-N-O.
Mr. Graviano, would you tell us your educational and professional?
Yes, I hold a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University, a master's degree in city and regional planning from Rutgers University, a law degree from the Temple University School of Law, where I received a distinguished class performance in state and local government law. I've testified in over 100 municipalities in 18 counties, and I was actually in this room 20 years ago before the governing body regarding the Mottby site. So it's, things come full circle.
We'll accept Mr. Brevard as an
would you-
expert witness. Yes, he'll be suitable.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me, Board. Appreciate it.
You've heard the testimony. Is it true you're familiar with the site?
Yes, I went by the site before the hearing tonight.
Would you testify as to the negative criteria, and do we meet it?
Yes, the applicant's before the board this evening for a specific piece of property known as Block 401, Lot 11.01. That's known as 714A to 716 Avenue E. There's an existing two-family dwelling on the house. The applicant seeks to demolish 2 existing detached accessory structures to build a new garage. The applicant does require relief for this proposal, specifically for the garage door facing the street. You heard about the fact that this is a corner lot, and the center street is the bridge with the guardrail that abuts the site. Additionally, the applicant is requesting relief for lot coverage, whereas the applicant is exceeding the current impervious coverage by 2%, whereas the existing condition is over the ordinance requirement. The variance for the garage facing the street certainly could be granted under the C1 criteria due to the exceptional topography and the exceptional situation affecting this specific piece of property. Strict application of the city zoning ordinance would create undue hardship upon the developer. That variance certainly could be granted without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. Additionally, the 2% increase in impervious coverage, that could be granted under the C2 criteria, whereas hardship need not be demonstrated. What must be demonstrated is that it relates to a specific piece of property, and that advances purpose of zoning of the municipal land use law. In this case, it certainly advances purpose A, promotion of the general health, safety, morals, and welfare. The applicant does have an older family member living on the first floor. This will give them opportunity to cover their vehicles in inclement weather. Additionally, it helps advance purpose G to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for a variety of residential uses to meet the needs of New Jersey citizens. And then the applicant's efforts to clean up the site, removing 2 sheds, building a more durable and more aesthetically pleasing structure, as well as the addition of landscaping, new fences, and lighting at the request of the board professionals, advances purpose I, promotion of a desirable visual environment and creative development techniques. There is no substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance with the granting of that coverage variance. All of the applicants' waiver requests that are still applicable can also be granted without substantial detriment to the public good.
Any questions from the board? Questions? No questions from the audience?
Thank you, Board.
Thank you.
You heard from the applicant and the two professionals. The one thing I want to emphasize is that the existing curb cut it's a safety factor, and there's no advantage in making it smaller. We're not going to get an extra parking spot, and it's been there prior to 1964. So we hereby request that all the variances requested and required be granted, and that the design exceptions also be granted.
Thank you. We'll now go into closed caucus. I think we're taking an pre-existing condition that's non-conforming. We're trying to do the best we can to conform where we can. You're improving on at least the lot coverage. You're definitely cleaning up the area, making it look more aesthetically pleasing. I commend you for all of that. I hope it works out with the coverage, and I would be in favor. Vice Chair?
Mr. Chairman, first I'd like to thank the professionals for their testimony. It was very helpful. I also agree that upgrading this property with this, getting the garage on and cleaning up everything there is definitely a positive impact to the area. So with that said, I would be approved the project.
Thank you. Commissioner DeRoss?
I have no issues with this application. I will be in favor.
Thank you. Commissioner Sisgalvin?
I do not have any issues with this application. I think it's going to be an enhancement to the property and to the community at large. I'm going to be voting in favor of the application.
Thank you. And Commissioner Frayne?
Yep, agree with all the previous statements. I'll be approving this as well.
Thank you. And Commissioner Garvey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll also be approving this hearing.
Thank you. We'll now come out of closed caucus. Can I get a motion in the affirmative for Z-25001, Francis Chernovsky, site 714 through 716 Avenue E, Block 401, Lot 1101.
I move Z-25-001 in the affirmative.
And a second, please?
A
I'll
second.
second.
Thank you. And a vote?
On the vote, Chairperson DeLillo.
Aye.
Vice Chair Pinheiro.
Aye.
Commissioner DeRoss.
Aye.
Commissioner Sisgalvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Frayne.
Aye.
Commissioner Garvey.
Aye.
The application has been approved.
Thank you. Do we want to adjourn?
Short break.
Yeah, we'll adjourn for 5 minutes. All set? You want to call roll?
Do I want to?
No, should I? Well, you should. Can you?
I can do it. Chairperson DeLillo.
Here.
Vice Chair Pinheiro.
Here.
Commissioner DeRoss.
Here.
Commissioner Sisgalvin.
Here.
Commissioner Frayne.
Here.
Commissioner Garvey.
Here.
For our second application, we have Z25-002, 696 through 698 Real Estate LLC. The site is 696 through 698 JFK Boulevard, Block 177, Lot 47. The applicant is seeking preliminary and final major site plan approval, a D1 variance, bulk variance relief, and design waivers to construct a 3-unit townhouse. Mr. Posada?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Posada. I'm from the law firm Sills, Cummis & Gross, and I represent the applicant in connection with this application before you here tonight, where we are seeking preliminary and final site plan approval in order to develop 3 townhomes and 1 improvement. Those townhomes each will have 2 bedrooms in it. The layout will be the first floor for parking and an entryway. With that parking will also include an EV space. The second floor will be an open concept plan with a kitchen, a living room, and a full bathroom. And then the third floor will be where the bedrooms are located, along with the full bathroom. And then the rooftop will actually be roof accessibility for amenity space as well to those tenants themselves. By way of background, I thought it would be beneficial to this board to understand the history of the proposed site. We actually started this journey about 3 years ago. Originally, when we were starting this journey, we had the idea that we could potentially develop 12 units here of studios, and we were looking to go through the redevelopment process. After having a couple conversations with this municipality, it was recommended that, given the size of the site, that we should consider a smaller density. So we had then gone over two different other proposed applications as far as it goes from the conceptual standpoint, one for 6 units and then the second one for 5 units. And at that point, the city had recommended as to whether or not we had thought about potentially putting townhomes, and especially because townhomes seem to also be available, no, I shouldn't say available, there is a need for townhomes in the city for whether they are rental or for purchase. So we went back to the board, and we decided to now propose what you have here tonight, which are the 3 townhomes, each for just 2-bedroom units themselves on that corner lot. For tonight, I will have 3 witnesses for this proposed project. The first will be my engineer, my second will be my traffic engineer, and my third will be my planner, Mr. Nick Raviano. Nick Raviano, he is not only the planner, but it's also his firm that did the architecturals as well, so he could testify and give it and answer any questions you have regarding architecturals. So if I may, I'd like to call my first witness, my engineer. Mr. Wally?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I do. Name is Sameh Wali, S-A-M-E-H-W-A-L-I.
Hi, Mr. Wally, can you please provide your educational credentials and whether or not your license is still in good standing?
Absolutely. I graduated from NJIT with a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering. I am a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. License is in good standing. I have testified before various boards before, including Summit, Union, Homedale, Linden, Livingston, Mount Olive, etc. And I'm a project manager at Dynamic Engineering with over 7 years of design experience.
And again, your license is in good standing?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. This is board
Yes, we'll accept Mr. Wally as an expert.
Excellent. I'd like to start out with presenting the aerial map, which was included as part of the plan set that was submitted before the board. The aerial map is dated September 27th, 2024, revised August 8th, 2024. This was, as I noted previously, already submitted before the board. For reference, a scale of 1 inch equals 80 feet, north pointing to the top of the sheet. So I wanted to just quickly run through the existing site conditions through the aerial map that's mounted up on this easel right here. So the aerial map is an aerial image of the surrounding area with the property outlined in red. The property is located at 696-698 John F. Kennedy Boulevard. The site is identified as Block 177, Lot 47. The property is located in the R2 zone. For reference, the entire property is approximately 2,672 square feet, or 0.06 acres, and is generally very flat topography throughout. Surrounding uses to the south are residential dwellings and West 26th Street beyond. To the west is John F. Kennedy Boulevard and residential dwellings beyond. To the north, we have West 27th Street and additional residential beyond. And to the east are more residential dwellings with commercial uses and Avenue C beyond. The property is entirely developed with a 1-story commercial office building, which is an existing non-conforming use, and all the associated pavement for it. Assuming no further questions on the existing conditions, I could bring up the site plan rendering. The site plan rendering is dated July 21st, 2025. This was not previously submitted before the board, so we would like to mark this as an exhibit. Scale of 1 inch equals 10 feet with north pointing to the top of the sheet.
Pause right there. This was actually submitted earlier today. This is A29.
Excellent.
Although it was today, it's not up on the website, so the 4 additional exhibits will be A27 will be the aerial map, A28 will be the crop image, A29 the site plan rendering, and A30 the planning exhibit.
Thank you.
Okay. So as noted previously, the applicant is proposing to construct 3 two-story townhouses with ground-level garages. Did want to note that the townhouses are a non-permitted use within the R2 zone. The building footprint is approximately 1,680 square feet. Building height of 31 feet is proposed for the proposed townhomes. Due to the existing lot's small size, there are a number of existing nonconformities as well as variances as part of this application. I did want to note that additional testimony regarding the variance relief will be provided by the professional planner. Just running through the general bulk requirements that we have either existing nonconformities and/or variances on. First was the minimum lot area. Lot area of 4,000 square feet is required. Under existing and proposed conditions, 2,672 square feet is existing and proposed. As for lot frontage, 40 feet is required within the R2 zone. Under existing conditions, the site provides 33.4 linear feet, which again is an existing nonconformity, which is proposed to remain. As for the principal building setbacks, front yard along John F. Kennedy Boulevard, 20 feet required, whereas 1.1 feet is existing, again, an existing nonconformity, whereas 13 feet is proposed. As for the rear yard, 20 feet is required, whereas 18.8 feet is existing, again, an existing nonconformity. And as for proposed conditions, we're proposing 7 feet, which again is a variance. As for side yard, 3 feet is required within the R2 zone, 0 feet is existing, which once again, existing nonconformity, and 0 feet is also proposed, which is a variance. Combined side yard, 6 feet is required, 8.4 existing, and 5 feet proposed. Maximum lot coverage, 70% is permitted. Under existing conditions, we have 100%, which is non-conforming, and 64.3% is proposed, which does comply. As for the floor area ratio for reference, 0.56 is existing, whereas 1.89 is proposed. And lastly, for building height, 35 feet is permitted, and 31 feet is being proposed. Moving on to the lot access and parking. There are 2 proposed driveway curb cuts that are proposed to serve the townhouse ground level garages. I did want to note that no driveway curb cut shall exceed 10 feet in width, and there shall be no more than 1 curb cut per lot. There are currently 2 curb cuts being shown on the plan, one of which is 16 feet, whereas the second is 30 feet. I did want to note as well that we did receive comments from the board engineer who recommended 10 feet and 20 feet respectively for those curb cuts, which we will comply with. In addition, garages consist of 1 parking space for each unit and will be EV ready. The City of Bayonne's parking requirements require 4 parking spaces, whereas 3 parking spaces are proposed. Therefore, a variance is being sought. In addition, a design waiver is also being requested as the parking garages open up on West 27th Street rather than interior to the lot, which is a design waiver being requested as well due to the small nature of the lot. The garage curb cut is proposed approximately 25 feet from the corner of the radius, whereas 100 feet separation is required, again, due to the small nature of the lot. That's another design waiver that's being sought after. As for proposed grading, the site will be subject to minor adjustments to accommodate the specific design, and the site will also be graded for ADA compliance, but generally speaking, the proposed grading will follow very similarly to the existing grading patterns. In addition, as for landscape and lighting, the project is proposing currently on the plans and currently depicted on the rendering, 1 street tree and 1 on-site shade tree, with a total of 13 ornamental grasses and shrubs for foundation plantings around the building. Per discussion with the county and as a condition of our approval, we were actually required to provide 2 street trees along the curb line for John F. Kennedy Boulevard, which our applicant has agreed to provide. In addition, our applicant also does agree to comply with the recommendations from the board planner to revise the tree caliper and shrub sizes. I did also want to note there is another design waiver being sought after for landscaping as well, specifically for the required 2 street trees along West 27th Street, whereas none are being proposed. Reason for that being is the proposed curb cuts do provide very limited space along the frontage, in addition to overhead wires, which would infringe upon the growth of the street trees being requested. For lighting, there are 3 building-mounted light fixtures mounted at a height of 7.5 feet, which would be LED. Essentially, we're going to provide 1 light fixture above each garage door. In addition, the garage lights are proposed to illuminate the walkway and driveway for safety and security along West 27th Street. The lighting plan requires a design waiver as a maximum of 1-foot candle is permitted at the front property line, whereas 17.3-foot candles is currently proposed, which does not conform with the city code. However, I did want to note that the light levels along the neighboring property lines actually does end up conforming with the city lighting requirements. Lastly, as for stormwater management and utilities, the project is not considered as a major development as defined per NJAC 7:8 and is exempt from stormwater management and green infrastructure requirements. The project proposes a net decrease in impervious coverage by 954 square feet and proposes less than 1 acre of total disturbance. And overall, the project does maintain existing drainage patterns while improving groundwater recharge, stormwater quality, and stormwater quantity, therefore providing as a benefit in terms of stormwater management under proposed conditions. And lastly, as for utilities, the proposed gas, electric, water, and sanitary sewer services are proposed to be made directly into the existing services within West 27th Street. That concludes my direct testimony. If there's any specific questions.
I just have a few questions for you.
Absolutely.
First, I just want to reiterate, it's your testimony that currently at the site today is an existing nonconformity?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. Also, we are going to be agreeing to the city engineer's recommendation, shortening the lengths of both those curb cuts?
Yes,
20 and
that's
10?
Yep.
Great. I also just wanted to confirm with you that since this is JFK Boulevard and that is a county road, that did the applicant receive approval from the Hudson County Planning Board?
Yes, we did. We received conditional approval on February 18th, 2025.
Great. And also, did this applicant also receive exemption from Soil Conservation District?
Yes, we did.
Terrific. And one last question. Is your testimony here tonight that we are actually reducing the impervious coverage by a little over 900 square feet and also improving the stormwater management at the subject site?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. As far as the trees go on 27th Street, I believe there's a tree fund that you can donate to. Is that correct? So instead of a design waiver, you could probably do that?
Yes, we would agree
Okay.
to contribute to the tree fund.
Any variances other than the curb cut that are existing, pre-existing conditions being exacerbated?
Aside from the curb cut? The rear yard setback is being reduced from existing 18.8 feet down to 7 feet. And as for combined side yard, that's being reduced from 8.4 feet down to 5 feet.
And our planner, he'll come up later to talk about the intensification for those bulk standards.
Okay, well, who would testify to any mitigating factors for making those, like, are you going to put any kind of shrubbery back there? Because, like, the rear yard setback, the reason for that is privacy for your neighbor.
Yep.
So are you putting anything in place to help set off the fact that you're going to be closer to the neighbor?
I let my civil engineer testify to that, but I can say on the record that our applicant, if this board were fine in the affirmative, would absolutely provide landscaping screening. Mr. Wall, you want to go into depth? about what could be done there?
Sure. Just pulling up the plan. Sorry, bear with me for 1 second. I'm just verifying. Okay. I mean, yeah, absolutely. To mitigate any additional buffering or screening the board is looking for us to provide to neighboring properties. We are a corner lot along John F. Kennedy Boulevard as well as 27th Street. And if preferred, we can certainly look to shift the building westward closer to John F. Kennedy Boulevard to provide that additional buffering if that's what the board prefers.
Well, that's going to come in with the second, or my next question, and this is to do with the curb cuts. So part of this is probably better answered by the architect, the distance between the two curb cuts after the proposed changes. But is it feasible to cut down the 20-foot even further and have it a shared curb cut? I mean, we have plenty of properties that are double wide driveways that only have 10-foot curb cuts. I don't know, with your setbacks, is it feasible to back both cars out of a centered, smaller curb cut?
So it does get a little bit tricky just because there is an existing utility pole along the frontage along 27th Street. And
Well, how would that make it, I'm asking you to make it smaller. I'm assuming that you're proposing one 20-foot that spans the two garages, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So if you made that 18 feet, 16 feet, would you still be able to swing the cars in and out? I don't think a telephone pole has anything to do with that by making it smaller. If you made it bigger, yeah. I'm saying I don't think you can get rid of all three.
Right.
Keep the one at 10, the one that's 20. Can you make that a little bit smaller and still swing the cars in and out safely?
That's going to be challenging, just because, again, there is, I'd have to verify.
If I may, Board Chairman, could we take a 5-minute recess just to have a conversation with our architect as well?
You
Or
can
2
just
minutes?
testify to it when he comes up if that's easier.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions. Any questions from the board? Commissioner?
You had mentioned about the lot size is going to be smaller as far as coverage. Your stormwater coverage are you still in parameters where you make the coverage for that, or it's been reduced?
The lot size itself is not changing. It's existing and proposed to be, I believe it was 2,672 square feet. And from that 2,672 square feet, it's currently entirely impervious, and we're proposing a reduction in impervious coverage by 954 square feet.
So there is a reduction?
There's a reduction by a little over 950 square feet, yes.
Okay. And one other question, seeing your rendition over there, your rendering?
Yeah.
You have a tree, it looks like there's 2 trees.
Right.
One looks like it's in the middle of the sidewalk.
Yeah, that was resolved with the county as well, as one of the conditions of approval. So in addition to providing an additional tree, the trees are going to be pulled forward to the curb line. Yeah.
And just for clarification, Mr. Wally, when we discussed the reduction in impervious coverage, since it's a little over 900 square feet that's going to be removed, is it safe to say that approximately a third of the site will be reduced from impervious coverage?
More or less, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other board questions from the board? Do we have any questions from the audience for? Did she leave? Oh, there you are. Now, at this time, the questions are directly to the testimony given. You can come up. I'm just saying. So if your question.
Could you move over to where Mr. Posada is so you can answer her questions? No, not you, ma'am.
Sorry, it's my first time.
The engineer. Address your questions to this gentleman. He's the one that would be answering.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a very important bus stop there. I'd like to understand if it's going to be an issue for pedestrian traffic to catch the bus stop, and then to also understand the start and finish approximately of the project, because it will be noise-bearing. And then also the rooftop deck, although glamorous and lovely, I envision it to be a burden to people in the area. That could be a conduct issue in terms of access, how many parties you can throw, how many people you could have
Can
there,
we,
things of that
one
nature.
question at a time so we can actually answer you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, stay here, stay here, stay here.
So first question, I think, was in regards to the bus stop specifically,
Yeah,
right?
I catch that bus to go to work, so I just want to know how are we going to physically get there? Are we going around the project? Are we going, things like that?
Do you mean during construction, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, like just in general, I envision like area being blocked off and trucks and things of that nature.
I'm going
Just to not forget it, that people need to take the bus.
No, absolutely. I'm going to defer that. We actually do have a traffic engineer here tonight, and I'm going to defer that to him.
Thank you. And just in general, the rooftop deck, it sounds lovely and beautiful, but it also could be taken a little too far in terms of being noise-bearing, boisterous, that type of thing. What does the person that's in charge of the building going to do for like time limits? Like, is it 24-hour access? I mean, sometimes we could take things a little too far.
Yeah, I believe we're going to have an architect to testify, as well as planner to the rooftop.
And then in terms of the project, like from start to finish, I know we have ordinances from when you can start in the morning to the evening. I believe it's 6 days a week. Does this include holidays? I know that things take a long time. It could take longer than expected. It's a lot. It's just a lot on us.
I will say that the applicant will comply with whatever the specific requirements from the ordinance are in terms of working hours that are permitted.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did you want to redirect Mr. Wally or call your next witness, Mr. Posada?
I'd like to call my next witness.
Thank you.
Thank you. My next witness will be Mr. Corey Chase, who is my traffic engineer and can also answer some of those questions.
I do. Certainly, it's Corey, C-O-R-E-Y. Last name's Chase, C-H-A-S-E.
Mr. Chase, can you please provide your educational background as well as whether or not your license is still in good standing?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. Again, Corey Chase with Dynamic Traffic, a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. License is currently in good standing. Bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the University of Massachusetts, and I've testified before over 120 municipalities throughout the state, including the city's planning board on a prior occasion.
We'll accept Mr. Chase as an expert.
Thank you. My role in the application was to assess the overall traffic and parking impacts associated with the redevelopment of the subject property, as well as working with Mr. Wally on the site access and impacts on the adjacent roadway network. From a pure traffic generation standpoint, we looked at data published by the Institute of Transportation Engineers, which is the national and state recognized standard for developing traffic projections. Given that we are only proposing a 3-unit townhome development, it's projected to generate a very negligible impact on traffic conditions, a maximum of 2 additional trips during the peak hours. So that's certainly not a significant level of additional traffic activity. The site was previously developed with a commercial office-oriented use, so there was traffic generation associated with that use as well. So changing it to a residential use, obviously your trips for residential uses are typically limited to exiting in the morning and returning home in the evening. So overall, from a daily traffic generation perspective, we would certainly expect a reduction in traffic to and from the area as a result of the redevelopment. As Mr. Wally mentioned, we are proposing 3 individual garages associated with each of the units. We do require a variance from the parking requirement of 4 spaces per city standards. I would note that I did look at There are, as was mentioned by the neighbor, there are 2 bus stops within close proximity to the development, so certainly that aids in close proximity to mass transit. And certainly, most families these days typically in a location like this don't have 2 vehicles. I looked at the census data published for the city, and actually 69% of the population has 1 vehicle or less within the city. So we feel that providing 3 off-street parking spaces would certainly be a benefit to the residents here and would be in keeping with those tenants that we would expect to occupy the facility. I believe, as was discussed with the architect and as was raised by the chairman relative to the curb cuts along the subject property frontage, we are reducing the 1 to 10 feet. The second curb cut was proposed to be 20 feet, encompassing the 2 other garages. We could reduce that to provide 3 compliant 10-foot curb cuts. There is approximately a 3.5-foot gap between the garage doors, and just given the width of the sidewalk, I don't think that we can reduce the 20-foot curb cut to 15 or 16 feet and have those vehicles angled out, but we could split it up into 3 individual curb cuts, 10 feet in width, which would be compliant with city standards. Just to address your concern relative to pedestrian activity during construction, we certainly recognize that there are those 2 prominent bus stops along JFK Boulevard, so we would work with the city police department to ensure that there was, if needed during specific times during construction, there would be a pedestrian detour, but all pedestrian connectivity would be maintained. And through limited times, there may be a detour just based on the construction activities that day, but it wouldn't be in a situation where there'd be no pedestrian accommodations to get to those bus stops. Mr. Brasada, that's all I had for direct. Be happy to answer any questions that you think I may have missed or any questions that the board may have.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're saying with the 3 10-foot. I think that actually makes it worse because you're actually expanding the unusable parking. Because now, like you said, if there's 3 foot in between, instead of a 20-foot space, now it's a 23-foot space or whatever that works out to be. So I wouldn't go there. I was just hoping we could shrink it down. Again, I think it would be the architect's testimony to let us know what the actual space is between the 2 curb cuts with the 10 and the 20 to see if that's usable space, because that would matter because you're taking away parking, existing on-street parking to put these curb cuts in, and you are putting 2 curb cuts in where we only normally allow 1. So I do want to hear what is going on there.
Understood, sir, and I can testify that the usable space between the 2 curb cuts, it's approximately 3 feet. So if we were to shrink it down, you would gain a 5-foot separation between the 2 curb cuts, so we wouldn't be in a scenario where we could actually park a vehicle between those 2 curb cuts. Even if we were to go to 3 10s, that's not notably changing the impacts on that frontage.
So there's only, with the 20 and 10, there's only 5 feet or so between the 2?
There's approximately 3 feet between the 2 now. So if we were to reduce it, you could be up to 5 feet potentially, but it wouldn't be a situation where we were at, say 18 feet and we reduced it, we could get a 20-foot separation between the 2 and you could actually park a car in between.
Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that the usage of these garages would be for each building, like if you're in Unit 1, you get a garage, Unit 2, you get a garage. And,
exactly, they would be assigned and they would be associated with that respective unit.
Any other questions from the board?
Regarding the bus stop, I just want to be certain that I understand where it's located. It's not is it located in front of the property, or is it just north of that on Kennedy Boulevard?
That's correct. It's located just to the north on Kennedy Boulevard, but I believe the residents' concern was coming up 27th Street, getting to the bus stop. If there was construction going on, would the sidewalk be closed, and then therefore, how would they get there?
Understood. Thank you for the clarification.
Certainly.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? No? Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to call my last witness, Mr. Nick Graviano. He is my planner, and also he's going to provide testimony regarding architectural design, specifically because his firm designed it.
And we'll accept him as an expert since we just went through this.
I don't want to wait another 20 years from him, you know.
This is the planning.
This is 8:30. This was marked 8:30, the planning exhibit.
How many copies do you have? It's 1 sheet. Oh, I have copies for everybody.
I asked how many do you have? Because I need one for the master. I'll
I do. Yes, Nicholas with an H, Graviano, G-R-A, V as in Victor, I-A-N-O. I'm a partner and planner with the firm that did the plans, and I'll be providing the planning testimony. I worked in conjunction with the licensed architect who prepared these plans, Mr. Gillis, who's in the audience this evening.
Terrific. Mr. Graviano, can you please walk us through first the design and then second the variances that are being requested here tonight?
Certainly. Firstly, I'll go over the design of the building, clarify some things for the board. As Mr. Posada indicated in his introduction, this is a 3-dwelling project. The building will measure 28 by 60 feet in size. That's 1,680 square feet. That's a 166 square feet increase from the office building, which sits there today, so it's a pretty modest 6.2% increase in footprint. As you heard in the engineering testimony, we did substantially decrease the impervious coverage on site, roughly 35.7%. So there will now be grass in the place of where formerly asphalt and gravel stood. The building is roughly 497.5 square feet per floor. That equates to 995 square feet of living space. These are 2-bedroom, 2 full bathroom dwelling units. As on the plans that were submitted with the application, you'll see on the ground floor contains a 1-car parking spot. The garage is 27 feet long. Your typical vehicle is 16 feet long, so it allows for not only the accommodation of the vehicle, but for additional storage space. There is a comment in the planning and engineering.
Excuse me, sir. You can bring the microphone over with you. It comes out with you.
I feel like Bob Barker.
There we go.
Nothing like being off from school and watching some Price is Right. The ground level will also contain a laundry/utility room, which would contain a washer and dryer, as well as the mechanical equipment to service the dwelling. The dwelling is modest in size, so it will only require 1 HVAC unit. There's an alcove to provide additional storage space, shelving, room for trash and recycling bins. Trash and recycling will be held in the garage and brought out by the occupant of the dwelling on trash day. Then there's a foyer which is accessed not only from 27th, but also from the garage that leads to the first living floor. The first living floor is an open floor plan kitchen, living, dining area, as well as a full bathroom. The second living floor will contain 2 bedrooms as well as a full bathroom, as well as a staircase that goes to the rooftop deck. In terms of materials, the plans originally proposed potentially brick or stone on that base course. I've been out to the site on 5 separate occasions after being in the neighborhood on a more frequent basis. I feel like the brick's more appropriate. It ties into the history of the other historic buildings in the area which consist of brick. The upper level will be contained of fiber cement siding. You'll know that is the industry name of hardy plank. That will be white siding with black windows. Additionally, we also considered a potential solid parapet at the roof. When we were doing the modeling, we felt that the open railings made the massing look a little less imposing. So that's why we went with the open rail on the rendering. In terms of the neighbor's question regarding use of the roof deck, it's no different than the use of anybody's backyard. Noise nuisance parameters exist, and the occupants will be subject to the requirements of everybody else in the municipality in terms of noise and the like. So it's no different than someone utilizing their rear yard. And that is the building testimony. I'm going to now get into the planning testimony. The main reason the applicant is here this evening is to request a D1 use variance, as the townhouse dwelling is not a permitted use in the R2 residential district, as well as the C variances that were indicated in the engineering testimony. This property is known as Block 177, Lot 47. It's currently developed with a 1,514 square feet office building. I would like to note that the office building requires 4 off-street parking spaces where 1 only presently exists. So there's a deficiency in 3 off-street parking spaces in the condition that exists today. The applicant's proposal proposes 1 parking space per each dwelling unit. However, the applicant is short by 0.75 or 1 off-street parking spaces per unit. You did hear the testimony by Mr. Chase that roughly 70% of all the dwelling units in the municipality have 1 car or less, so the off-street parking is certainly enough to accommodate the proposed residential units. In terms of those C variances, I'm not going to go through them point by point. You heard the quantity in the engineering testimony, but the variances indicated for lot area, lot width, lot frontage, and lot depths, they're all existing conditions not augmented by this application. Strict application of the city's zoning ordinance would create an undue hardship upon the applicant this evening. Those variances exist today. They certainly could be granted without substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. Looking at the D1 variance, I don't have to tell you all the time you spend away from your family and friends doing fun things. The D1 variance could be granted in particular cases and for special reasons. That's the positive criteria of the D1 variance. New Jersey courts have held that the promotion of the general welfare is the zoning purpose that most clearly amplifies that term, special reasons. So the benefit to the general welfare in a non-inherently beneficial use, which is what the applicant's proposing this night, derives not from the use itself, but the development of a site in the community that's particularly suited for the very enterprise that's proposed. Now, the applicant does not need to demonstrate to you that there are other viable locations for this proposed townhouse building, just that this site has characteristics that makes the townhouse building appropriate in this particular setting. Additionally, the negative criteria, the variance can't be granted without a showing that there will be no substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance or a substantial detriment to the public good. In terms of the particular suitability, we must look at why is the location of the site particularly suited for this enterprise. Additionally, what characteristics of the site make it appropriate for the proposed use. Now, looking at the planning exhibit, that's A30, Mr. Posada?
Yes.
Looking at the planning exhibit, I took these photographs on July 18th, 2025. It's pretty hot that day. You all been by this site numerous times. You know, it's a site and a part of JFK Boulevard where the corner uses and the corner locations have a greater massing and a greater density than when you push into the number streets. So if you look at this corner, the specific corner of 27th and JFK, across the street you have a mixed-use building with multifamily dwelling units. Additionally, you have a commercial use that's part auto part sales / auto repair. Right across the street from the subject property is a 3-story multifamily apartment building. And when you look at both 26th and 28th, you have similar conditions where you have bigger, denser, larger buildings on the corner. And this is a scenario where the applicant's trying to respect the as-built conditions of the neighborhood, provide a use on the corner, which actually exists today. This is a commercial use. It is a residential zone. So this mimics the established development patterns for uses along JFK. You heard Mr. Chase indicate that it is located along transit routes. There are 2 bus routes that traverse this area to provide the dwelling units with access to public transportation. And then lastly, when you look at this is a zone that permits 2-family dwellings. The applicant's proposing only 1 extra dwelling It eliminates a non-conforming use, which is the office use, and creates a use that's better in keeping with the zone plan or zoning ordinance. Now, when you look at the application that was before you tonight, there was a two-family dwelling on the property. There were 6 bedrooms. This application, while it's 3 units, proposes 6 bedrooms. These units are 3 two-bedroom units. So in terms of occupants and population derived from the applicant's proposal, pretty much what you would have in a conforming development scenario. In terms of the purposes of zoning and municipal land use law, this certainly advances purpose A, to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of lands which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Purpose A is advanced by the 35% reduction in impervious coverage on the site. It's advanced by producing a building which is built to modern building standards and development techniques. Additionally, it advances purpose G to provide sufficient space and appropriate location for a variety of residential uses to meet the needs of New Jersey citizens. And then lastly, the care to the site promotes a desirable visual environment through creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangement. This one extra unit certainly does not cause a substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. There's no foreseeable substantial detriment to the public good. And as I stated previously, the present use requires 4 off-street parking spaces where only 1 exists. It's a 3-spot deficiency compared to the 1-spot deficiency that's proposed by the applicant this evening. Furthermore, this zone by conditional use permits a wide range of higher intensity uses, such as religious institutions, educational institutions, community residences for the developmentally disabled, hospital facilities, accessory parking on lots abutting commercial zone districts, as well as fraternal organizations, lodges, community centers, and other quasi-public uses. Had a chance to look at both the 2000 master plan as well as the August 2017 master plan reexamination. Both on page 82 and page 95, the plan seeks to encourage high-quality adaptive use and development of single-family duplexes and townhouses in existing residential neighborhoods. This is certainly an existing residential neighborhood that has the ability to accommodate a high-quality townhouse use. Mr. Posada in his intro said that this is a use that is not common in the city of Bayonne, and he's correct. As per 2023 census figures, the single-family detached dwelling type, which is what the applicant is proposing before you this evening, townhouses are considered single-family attached dwelling units, only exist in 6.2% of the city's housing stock. There's only one housing type which is lower in percentage than that, and that is mobile homes. So this is a very unique product to the city of Bayonne. And certainly at that corner location, which historically and currently provides a higher density use, is certainly appropriate in the location. Additionally, 2023 statistics indicate that 79.4% of the city's housing stock is over 50-plus years old. Certainly no substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance with the request for the D1 use variance. Looking at the variances that are created by the application, the chairman's question from earlier, what's being augmented by this application? Yes, there are variances being augmented by this application, but you have to put them in context. The minimum side yard individual, where the applicant requires a variance, that's on the 27th frontage. So the building is on the sidewalk. That's not an unusual scenario. Many of the buildings in that neighborhood have the building on the sidewalk. So that's the variance request at that location. In terms of the side yard setback, the combined variance, the applicant's only off by 1 foot. 6 foot is required. The applicant is proposing 5 feet. That 5 feet was designed to provide a greater setback to the neighboring residential dwelling on JFK. So your code allows this building to be set back 3 feet from that building. This building is set back 5 feet from that building. And we also wanted that 5 feet to provide additional fenestration in the back of that building to provide a desirable building facade to that neighbor. The rear yard variance, 20 feet is required, 7 feet is proposed. That's to the neighbor on that's to the neighbor on 27th. That is the side of the neighbor's dwelling. In a conforming development scenario, you could have a house 3 feet from that neighbor's dwelling. We're proposing the 7 feet. Chairman, if you want additional landscaping in that area, we certainly could provide evergreen landscaping along the property line to provide a shield for the building. The benefit of pushing the building back from JFK is that 1.1 feet setback exists today on JFK. The applicant's now providing 13 feet. The 13 feet that the applicant's providing is the exact same front yard setback of the neighboring dwelling on JFK. Additionally, it was the request of the county to provide additional front yard space at that location. So that's why we have the building pushed back and providing a greater front yard setback than exists today, although the variance is still required. The applicant is requesting the parking variance. One space variance is required. You heard Mr. Chase's testimony justifying the current parking scenario. The created variances certainly could be granted under the C2 criteria, advancing purposes of zoning A, G, and I that were provided in the use variance testimony analysis. Those variances can also be granted with substantial impairment to the zone plan or zoning ordinance. The applicant is requesting exceptions to the design standards. We've discussed the driveway exceptions. The applicant has addressed the trash and recycling. The applicant will address the lighting at the property line exception, as well as the street tree caliber exceptions.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Thank you. Just for clarity's sake, because it is very confusing with this, because that's the front of the house on 27, what you're showing there in that
Yes.
picture. That's the front of the house, but that's the side yard setback.
This is what the planners are, this is really the front yard. The planners have indicated that's a side yard setback.
Okay, so that's what okay. And then the picture to the east is the rear yard, or the, yes, so that's the,
That's the rear yard, which, that's the neighbor's side yard.
okay. Are there windows there on this house or on the neighboring house?
There are windows on both houses.
Okay. And then the other side yard is to the south, correct? That's where you're putting a 5-foot,
That's the 5-foot setback.
okay.
whereas the-
And then the front yard setback is actually what fronts Kennedy Boulevard.
The front yard setback fronts Kennedy Boulevard, 13 feet is proposed, which is the exact same setback as the neighbor's.
Okay. Thank you. I know that's, the house is sideways, but the, yes. Okay, thank you. Where's the existing off-street parking?
The off-street parking is next to the neighbor on 27th. There's parking for one car there.
Okay.
There's a gate that leads to a one-car parking spot.
And the rooftop, is there separation between the 3 units?
Yes,
And what's that? Is it
it's going to be the railing.
a 4-foot railing, 6-foot, 8-foot?
Well, railing and the stair tower.
Okay. And then within each one, do they have full access? Is the whole rooftop open to them? Is there no stacks or chimney there?
The whole rooftop will be open. Anything needed for mechanical, the AC unit will be on the roof. That obviously be screened and protected for safety. The roof's not that big. It's less than 500 square feet. So, it does provide the residents with some outdoor space, which could function as a rear yard space.
Okay. And then the rear yard, it's, what is it, like 8 foot?
7 feet.
7 foot. what access would be there to, and who's going to maintain any landscaping that would be there?
The landscaping will be maintained by the management company of the building.
Okay, so there will be a management company?
Yes.
Is it all open or is it fenced in?
It could be whatever the board prefers.
I have no problem, I'm just asking what the plans
It
are.
was designed to be fenced.
Okay, and then I would assume that you would have to have a gate there then on
Yes.
27th Street?
Yes. We could either provide a gate, 2 gates on 27th and as well as JFK. Because the open space is an L.
Oh, because it goes around to the
Yes.
5th Street. Well, that would just be is that what's in that alleyway? Is that going to be impervious coverage, or is that going to be cemented?
No, that's going to be grass.
Okay.
We really tried to reduce the impervious coverage on this site, so the back of that building is grass, plus we don't want people walking back there. There's no doors or access to the garages from that location.
Okay, that's the questions I have. Any other questions from the board? Good.
Yes, to me, with these doors leading into the building, that's the front. So the entrance to that building is right on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Okay, and the illustration you talked about, all the large buildings on the corner of the boulevard,
Yes.
all of them have entrance on the boulevard. This application, the entrance is on the side street, so to me, that has nothing to do with it.
I respectfully disagree, only because it is a corner building on the boulevard. So the reason we have the accesses on 27th is to provide a distance to the garage off the corner, and we didn't want a curb cut on JFK. We wanted to provide off-street parking. This was a rational design scenario. We paid attention to make that facade on JFK attractive with nice fenestration at nice intervals, with a symmetrical look. So, we respected the JFK frontage.
Any other questions from the board? Any questions from the any questions from the audience? If that's your...
That's my last witness.
Do you want to sum
Yes,
up?
please.
Hold on, Mr. Posada. We take comments from the audience before the attorney sums up, so if anybody would like to comment on this application, now's the time. Mr. Posada.
This is a subject site that has been plagued for a number of years with commercial tenancy. We believe returning this site to a residential use, which is permitted in the zone, not the type of asset, but the residential from commercial residential is originally anticipated for this subject site, would advance the municipal land use law as well as the master plan for this municipality. And also, as discussed before, that this housing stock will address a need within the municipality. And for those reasons, we think that the board should find the affirmative. But more importantly, we thank the board and the board's professionals for working with us for the past couple of years. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now go into closed caucus. Yeah, I'm conflicted on this. I like the project very much so. I think it looks great. I think it'd be a great addition. I do have concerns about opening up 2 curb cuts on the street and setting precedent for that. But my other fear is if we turn this down, the alternative will probably be a more dense building and not any more parking. So it may only have 1 curb cut, but you're going to have more density with more parking demand, but no more than 3 spots being given anyway, which kind of counters the whole reason why I don't want 2 curb cuts. I appreciate what you're trying to do with all the, not exacerbating any of the conditions and trying to give back with, the spirit of the ordinances with the setbacks more so than the letter of the ordinance. weighing the pros and cons, I think I will be in favor of this. Vice Chairman Pinera.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also agree much more with your concerns. But however, I do agree with the concept of the building. And with that said, I would be in favor of it.
Thank you. Commissioner DeRoss.
I have some issues with this. One is being that there's no yard where the entrance is. I see an issue with people blocking the sidewalk because it's a very populated area, and people would park across the driveway, which is permitted by the city, but I still see cars blocking the driveway. And as far as attached homes, there are attached homes on that block further down, and they don't fit the area. I was happy to see a color rendition, and that was one of my issues, that I didn't see one. I saw it, which is very nice, but I don't think attached homes blend into that area. And as far as stormwater, I heard less coverage, more coverage, so I was a little confused on that. We once had an application where a person wanted to remove the planter from their driveway, and because they didn't have the stormwater coverage, we had to refuse the application. So along with this, then I won't be in favor of this application.
Thank you. Commissioner Sisgalvin.
I think that this is a beautiful project that's going to enhance the area that it's located in. I agree with the other comments that have been made as well. I would be in favor of this application with the condition that we add the evergreen along the backyard for the privacy.
Thank you. Commissioner Frayne.
Thank you. I also tend to struggle a bit. I think my biggest concern is the sidewalk and the garages opening right there. But as I try to think to myself, how could this be better if there was even a totally different project, I think the problem exists just by the nature of the lot. So I do think it's a good project. I think I think it fits within the city. I think it provides good housing. So ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and support it with the condition as well for the plantings in the rear.
Thank you. And Commissioner Garvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You guys have all brought up really good points, and I've had a lot of questions, but you guys have cleared all that up for me. So I'll be in favor of this project.
Thank you. We will come out of closed caucus. Can I have a motion in the affirmative with I guess the only real condition was the planting.
The trees in the rear yard.
The trees in the rear yard. Can I have a motion in the affirmative with the conditions outlined for Z-25002, 96 through 98 Real Estate LLC, site 696, 698 JFK Boulevard?
I move Z-25-002 in the affirmative with the opposed conditions.
And a second?
I'll second.
And a vote, please.
Chairperson DeLillo.
Aye.
Vice Chair Pinero.
Aye.
Commissioner DeRoss.
No.
Commissioner Sisgalvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Frayne.
Aye.
Commissioner Garvey.
Aye.
The application has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
You guys have worked so hard tonight. You're done.
Ask you, do we have any resolutions to approve?
You're done.
Oh, wait.
One resolution, J&J Builders LLC, Z-24-006, 22 East 11th Street, Block 273, Lot 23. This was an application heard at our last board meeting. Can I get a motion and a second?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And on the vote, Commissioner, Chairperson DeLillo.
Aye.
Vice Chair Pinero.
Aye.
Commissioner DeRoss.
Aye.
Commissioner Sisgalvin.
Aye.
Commissioner Frayne.
Aye.
Commissioner Garvey.
Aye.
The motion has been approved. We'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion. Second.
Second.
All in
Meeting
favor?
adjourned.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.